Remember this spinning top? In the movie Inception, DiCaprio used it to answer one terrifying question. Am I in reality or am I still dreaming? The movie told us that consciousness has levels, a dream within a dream within a dream. But here's what Christopher Nolan didn't tell you. Your real brain is far more complex than the movie. You don't need to enter a dream within a dream to get lost in the maze of your own consciousness. In reality, your brain has 3 completely different operating modes. You could be asleep, but your brain is working at full power. Or you could be on forced shutdown, fainting for just a few seconds. Or you could be in the forbidden zone, a coma, where there's no sense of time or space. Today, we're going to throw the spinning top and dive deep together to understand the real difference between sleep, fainting, and coma. I'm Moo, and before we begin today's journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get an alert with every new video. Let's go. To understand what consciousness actually means, we need to go back in time to the year 1690. Back then, the English philosopher John Locke gave the first precise definition of consciousness. He said it's the perception of what passes in a man's own mind. Simply put, John Locke saw consciousness like an internal monitoring screen that makes you aware you exist. You see, you hear, you feel everything around you. As long as that screen is on, you are conscious. So here's the question. When we sleep at night, does that screen turn off completely, or does it play a different movie? When you press sleep on your computer, the screen goes black, but the machine is still running, right? That's exactly the scientific definition of sleep. It's a natural state of rest where your movement and response to your surroundings decrease, but your brain is working at full power. Sleep isn't just an on and off switch. Sleep is a journey. You go through 3 main stations that repeat throughout the night. First, light sleep. This is when you first drift off, a quick transition phase. Your brain starts processing what happened during your day, and you begin wandering through many thoughts or even old memories. Second, deep sleep. This is the most important stage for your body. This is where maintenance happens. Your muscles rebuild and your immune system gets stronger. Third, REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And this is the cinema. This is where dreams happen. Your brain becomes extremely active, just like when you're awake, but your body is paralyzed so you don't get up and act out your dream and hurt yourself. And this is the period when some people sleepwalk. So what if you decided to challenge the system and not sleep at all? In 1964, a student named Randy Gardner decided to stay awake for as long as possible. Randy stayed awake for 11 days and 25 minutes. That's about 264 hours. But the price was heavy. He started hallucinating, forgetting who he was, and couldn't focus on a single sentence. And in the end, Randy couldn't take it anymore. He fainted and slept for 14 hours straight.
Usually, fainting happens when your brain wants to do a forced restart, and all it needs is about 15 seconds to make you fall to the ground so gravity can start helping to pump blood back to your brain faster. Because fainting happens when blood suddenly drops in your brain. And honestly, fainting is a beautiful phenomenon. It shows how smart our bodies are at dealing with problems. Often, when the word fainting is mentioned, many people don't know what it feels like, but at the same time, a lot of people have actually experienced this feeling. Because statistics say that between 15 and 39% of people will experience fainting at least once in their lifetime. And there are many types of fainting. Your brain deals with many situations that make it decide to hit that restart button for many reasons. Your blood pressure drops suddenly. Dehydration, lack of fluids. You get scared or extremely stressed, emotional overwhelm, and even severe pain. But the strangest type of fainting is the one that has no physical cause, contagious fainting. In 1980, in Britain, at a children's musical competition called the Hollandwell Incident, suddenly one child fainted, then another, then a third, until 300 children collapsed at the same time. This proves that fainting can be a psychological contagion. In 1991, an Emirati woman named Munira Abdallah, who was 32 years old at the time, was in a car with her son when a major accident happened. The mother hugged her son to protect him. The child survived, but the mother fell into a complete coma. For 27 years, her son visited her every day to be by her side. He told her everything that was happening, as if she were still living. The doctors said it's impossible for her to wake up. This is a hopeless case. But in 2018, her son was talking on the phone. He got into an argument and his voice got very loud. That's when the miracle happened. Munira opened her eyes and called her son's name, Omar. Munira's story makes us ask, what's the big difference between a coma and sleep? Since we've talked a lot about consciousness, a coma is actually the complete opposite of sleep, because sleep is a natural loss of consciousness, and we can return from it quickly when someone just calls our name. But this is completely different from a coma, because it's a deep and long-term loss of consciousness. The patient loses all sense of the surrounding environment. They don't feel light or sound or even pain. Their brain is running on safe mode, barely keeping the heart and breathing going, but the consciousness screen is completely off. So what does a coma actually look like? A person in a coma has their eyes closed all the time. They don't respond to voices, to touch, or even to pain. Their breathing might need machine support, and they can stay like this for days, weeks, or even months. What causes a coma? Usually, it's something that severely damages the brain. A serious head injury from an accident, a stroke that blocks blood to the brain, severe poisoning, or lack of oxygen like drowning or cardiac arrest. Basically, anything that shuts down the brainstem, the part that controls consciousness. For many years, we thought that a coma patient was completely disconnected from the world, but recent studies found that about 15% of patients who were diagnosed as completely out of service, their minds are still working. They hear their family's words, they feel their touch, but they're trapped inside a body that won't move. Science called it hidden consciousness. And this teaches us a harsh lesson. Even if the screen is black, the hardware might still be recording everything, so be careful what you say around them. In the end, whether you sleep every night or you've experienced fainting, or you know someone who went through a coma, the conclusion is that our consciousness is an incredibly complex gift. It's a precise operating system that's constantly trying to keep you online. So try to help it by sleeping well and paying attention to its warning signals. If you enjoyed this video and made it to this point, then you're definitely conscious and focused with us. Don't forget to hit that like button and tell us in the comments, have you ever experienced fainting before? What did it feel like? And if there's any complex scientific topic you want us to simplify and explain next time, write it down for us right now. See you in the next episode. Peace.